You had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. Yes, we are back. Episode 223. 223 episodes. And 5-year reunion or 5-year anniversary coming up as well. So, but without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, aka Matt Callahan, aka Callie, aka Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Volta Shield. How we doing tonight? How are we feeling a little better? What do you think?
You know, if only the amount of camouflage I have on right now could really hide the feelings that I have for the disappointment that was to start the playoffs for the Minnesota Vikings and them going, sadly, one and done once again. Could not be enough to mask the extreme amount of confusion I have running through my body of just everything emotionally that happened. I've been better, I'll certainly say that much.
And with that, I totally agree. And with that, we welcome our Minnesota Vikings expert, Mikey Ryan. And Mikey, you know, how are you feeling after this whole deal with our Minnesota Vikings?
It's frustrating, you know. We had such a great season. We believed in the Vikings the entire way through, right? A lot of us predicted that we'd have a good season, at least a winning record in the preseason show. But the national media doubted us, and Kevin O'Connell really brought it all together. Sam Darnold had a great year, albeit the last 2 games were not his best, probably some of his worst, to be honest. But it's kind of the same. Like, I hate to say it, it's the same old Vikings, right? It's just heartbreak. It's kind of just like our MO at this point. We do so well. We have like great stats. It looks like we're contenders, and then we just falter when the light shines brightest. How much more to say? I mean, hopefully something changes. KOC's still young. This is his 3rd year. This is the biggest offseason, I think, in Minnesota Vikings, at least the last 20 years. At least. I think it might be the biggest offseason in Vikings history, this determines a lot of people's jobs this offseason.
Oh yeah, huge.
Because they will be into year 4 of the Kwesi and O'Connell era, which hopefully can be what we expect it to be, hopefully. So we got that, talking about that tonight. Then after that, Mikey's going to stick with us for our divisional predictions. Yes, we are looking forward to doing that. Well, mostly, I guess. But we'll talk about that in a second. ARA, we got a lot going on with the ARA tonight as well. Ant fined again for the 5th time. We'll talk about that whole ordeal. And then we got the Patriots hiring Mike Vrabel. We kind of knew that as well going through. We'll talk about that. Voldy's happy. Now Mike McCarthy out with the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Prime, his name's been brought up a couple times with Jerry Jones. So we'll see how that pans out. And then the top guy over in Japan, Sasaki, he's narrowing it down to 3 teams. So we got that. Shield shoutouts as well tonight, too. So you know how we usually start off to you. It's like, guys, do your pick 'em, all that. We're doing something a little different. Guys, I told you this. I sent you the screenshots. There was a reel that was posted on the IG reel. The Up and Adams show, which, again, you know, we love Kay Adams here. We love that Good Morning Football, the whole deal and everything. Very big fan with football. Unfortunately, with Scam Duel, but we can forgive her for that. But she had one Kirby Joseph on as a guest. And I tend to, you know, look at the reel and whatnot, and Kirby Joseph was on. And on this show, we have said that Kirby Joseph is, in fact, a dirty player. Well, I decided to, put my comment out there to see, maybe I can reel some Lions fans in here. And oh boy, did I ever. I said the following, just to give the zoners some context here. I said, this is hence why I'm rooting for the Lions to lose. He is a dirty player, and shame on the NFL for not taking action against him. Matthew Stafford spoke the truth last year about him. So, of course, who's going to come to Kirby Joseph's rescue and everything like that? Oh, some dumbass Lions fans. Yes, I said it. There's some on here, and again, I won't name any names. I'm saying what a couple people said to me here. But one person says, "Go watch flag football." Good one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that makes a whole lot of sense. I just said it's just facts. It seems to
the
me
Olympics in a few years.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe.
Look forward to it.
I just said just facts, which tells me you're the type of, which tells me what kind of person you are. If it happened to you, I bet you'd feel differently.
Yep.
Just saying. Next person says, how else do you expect him to tackle a tight end that's 70 pounds bigger than him? It's called a form tackle, you moron. Good Lord.
Try harder.
How many people don't know football? Mikey, you don't lead with your helmet to try and hurt somebody and make a tackle. You're supposed to do a form freaking tackle. These people don't understand how football works, apparently. And they think, oh, no, he's not a dirty player and everything like that. If you lead with your helmet and use it as a weapon, that is a penalty. And they did not call it with Hawkinson. They did not call it with Higbee. And he tried to do it again this year to Tucker Kraft. I'll get to that in a second. So another person says, and again, these Lions fans just don't understand. And again, not all Lions fans are bad. This group of people that think that they know. I mean, Braden's been awesome. We've had Mikey Lawrence here on the show. They're very humble and they tell it like it is. But here's another person. Stafford knew what he was doing. He put the ball to Higbee where it was exposed his own player to get hurt. Try learning ball. You try learning ball, you moron. Good Lord. You're a ball, for goodness sakes. I mean, the idiocy that some of these Lions fans think, oh, it's fine, it's legal in the NFL. I don't care if it's legal or not. You're going out to hurt somebody. This isn't a hard thing to grasp. If you use your helmet as a weapon, you are, in fact, a dirty player. Kirby Joseph is a dirty freaking player. This is an absolute joke with some of these people. They're so stupid. And again, some of these kids, some of these fans, they think, oh yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. People are coming to his defense, and he doesn't care. And to be honest, if he doesn't care, guess what? You have a target on your back now, and I'm telling you, people have seen film, people have watched him play. He is, in fact, a dirty player. And I was stating facts. And I'm not saying the Lions are a dirty team or anything like that. But I just want to see them just be like, oh, we lost. It's just, stop it. He's a dirty player. Just admit it. It's fine. We've had players that Benny Sapp threw a freaking helmet at somebody, for goodness sake.
Right.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Good times.
So anyway. I was going through that today. But, again, I set myself up for it, guys. I really did. But at the same time, I really enjoyed just some of these fans just, they're just like, oh, he put it the wrong way, or he was going for his thigh and things like that. No, he was going out to hurt somebody. And if you try to convince anybody else otherwise, then you're going to learn a lot about football. You need to take a freaking, a test, like a football IQ test, and learn how the game works. And going out to hurt somebody like that, 2 torn ACLs, trying to injure somebody, yeah, you know what? Screw you. You're full of shit. All right. Anyway. The Lions, along with the fan base, are neck and neck with the Chiefs for the most annoying and hated in the league. The difference is one actually wins championships. Thank you, Jason Schmitz.
Got him.
And again, Jason and I trade barbs back and forth, right? But he's my cousin. Again, I'm not gonna be angry with my cousin or anything like that. It's funny, There's some stuff that we throw back at each other. I was hoping the Vikings won. They didn't. So, but with that being said, guys, your thoughts on these fans? Voldy, why don't you start us off?
I mean, I'm starting to feel as if the Lions' success, if you will, is starting to go a little bit towards the Lions fans' head, just a little bit. Early stages, if you will, when Kansas City started to put a few things together here and there. But you think the little bit of success that the Lions have had here in the last year and a half, of course, with the hiring of Dan Campbell, has, really started to put them in the upper echelon of maybe, what's the word that I'm looking for? I think maybe delusion. There it is. That's the word I was looking for. I think they're at a point now where it's getting a little bit more difficult for them to face reality and say when a dirty player is being a dirty player.
Mikey, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't take the Lions fans' IQ very well. Not all of them. There are some very intelligent Lions fans. I think a lot of them right now, though, are bandwagoners, and the ones that are chronically online are also just bandwagoners. I don't take their football acumen very seriously. They can't discern a dirty player or not. They had Ndamukong Suh on their team for 10 years, something like that, and he's rated all time as one of the highest dirty players ever. And like, to the point, I think I saw one of the comments on your comment there. It was like, he's only done 2. Yeah, he's only done 2 because he's whiffed a couple times. And It's very evident when someone is trying to hurt a player or when someone misses, right? You're a professional athlete. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're in the NFL, you know how to make a form tackle. Whether or not you want to execute a form tackle, depending on how, like, your paycheck or anything like that, is up to the player. But if you're leading with your head, you're not really caring about, oh, is this going to affect my career or not? No, you're trying to hurt the team so that your job is easier, so that then you can look better. Like, that's just dirty in my mind. And Kirby Joseph is like, don't call me a dirty player and everything like that. All this is getting to his head. 100%. He doesn't want to be known as a dirty player, but he is. And he can't get away. He can't shy away from the fact anymore because it's already a target on his back. People know what to expect when you're playing the Lions. And again, the Lions are not a dirty team. I don't believe they're a dirty team. I like Dan Campbell. I like what he's done with the team so far. I root for them, not root for them outside of being, in the division. If the Lions won the Super Bowl, I'd feel great for them. I'd feel distraught because they won before the Vikings, which is ridiculous in my mind. But it would be a cool storyline. But you can't shy away from the fact that the dude's dirty. And if you can accept the fact, be like, yeah, the dude's dirty, but he's a good player. Like, that's fine. Like, you can make that argument, but don't accept that it's like, oh, he's not a dirty player because he's on your team. That doesn't make any sense. Like, if someone was on the Vikings that was a dirty player, we'd call him out almost right away. Like, as much as homers as we are, we are a little
realistic
bit,
too.
Yeah, we're
I mean,
realistic.
yeah.
We're bipartisan, if you want to put it that way. We're not omnipotent, but we'll take it. There's criticism. There's tons of criticism that any team you could have out there, but you gotta just be able to just see through the beer glasses. It's like, this dude's a dirty player. It's out there. It's very evident. I don't know why they're so upset about it. Just, turn the phone off for half an hour. You might feel better.
Yeah, I agree. And, I will say I'd put that out there knowing that this is probably going to set off, some alarms to people. And that's fine. But whenever I see them try to defend him, you can't defend somebody who's already done this twice and then tried to do it again against Green Bay with Tucker Kraft. But the thing about Tucker Kraft is he's a hypocrite because he did that to Pat Jones, and Pat Jones didn't play any of the playoffs, not even played against Detroit for that matter. So this just sums it up. You guys summed it up perfectly. I don't need to go on about this. I don't absolutely I despise the Lions now because that guy's a dirty player. No, they're a very good team. They are.
Absolutely.
And they beat the Vikings twice. I mean, that's what they did. So, all right, we got to get to some Tater Tot hot take. We're done talking about them specifically. We'll get to them in our divisional predictions. So, guys, let's get it going with some Tater Tot hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, we're cooled off. We're ready to talk about this disappointing game. Very, very disappointing. We talked about there's a lot to talk about with this, so I'll try to keep things short here because we just got to get right into it. But the Minnesota Vikings lose to our Minnesota Vikings lose to the Los Angeles Rams in Glendale, Arizona, 27-9. The Vikings, Sam Darnold was 25-40, 245, one touchdown, one interception, and 9 freaking sacks. We'll get to that in a second. Not good. And the Rams got to him, obviously, the 9 times and whatnot. Mikey, this probably was one of the worst games, but outside of probably the Detroit game and or the Jags game, even though they won, was nothing. It was just bad. I mean, everything was bad. O-line was bad. Darnold was bad. Couldn't get anything really going offensively. What are your thoughts on this disappointing and first round exit for our Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, it was a bad overall game. I mean, the defense played okay until about, I would say, the second half, where the game kind of got away from them. And it's human emotion, to kind of have bad games after that. When it all feels like too much, Offensively, it was probably the worst performance I've seen this season. And it like at halftime, I kind of was like, I just have to get up, go away. I watched probably from the middle of the third quarter on just to make sure that there wasn't some crazy comeback. But it was like it felt like the Eagles game in 2017 where it's like
Yeah.
it's you're just taken out of it like right away. Not right away, like middle of the second quarter, it's like it all feels for naught, and then you're just watching your team suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's performance, like it wasn't good. It looks like after what happened with the Lions, he got skittish. Is the best way to put it. He was running around for his life when there was no pressure, and when there was pressure, he was just sitting there and taking it right in his chest. He had no internal clock. He had no idea what was not no idea what was going on. This isn't like 2019 Jets Darnold or anything like that. Much better than that, but still,
Woof.
like he looked like a bust. He looked like a QB bust. That's all it was. Those last two games, I think, cost him. We can get to that later, but I think it cost him at least like 15 mil a year in his contract because of how bad it was. It looked like, yeah, he can play great in the regular season. When the light shines brightest, he cowers. And that's what it looks like. Now, did the Vikings help him out at all? In some offensive scheme wise, sure, there was a lot of open receivers that he could throw into. There was some check downs that he probably should have made. But the interior offensive line, and especially like even Cam Robinson, I would say, were atrocious this game. You can't even spin it any other way. This was the worst performance by this offensive line the entire year when you needed it the most. And granted that Rams defensive line, unbelievable. They have recreated Sam Darnold in the aggregate. If you want to get Moneyball on it, it's unbelievable what they've done with that defensive line. It's shocking that they can actually draft, when they haven't had a first round draft pick in what feels like 2 decades. But it's very frustrating as a fan. And as much as it's like, oh, I'm used to it. It's same old Vikings. You get there, we do so well, and then it's heartbreak. It still like stings, because I still care about this team. When like next September, when this season rolls around, I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna have the same enthusiasm that I always do for this team. Like it'll be my team, ride or die, or anything like that. But it's at some point we have to figure it out. I believe that we have the coaching acumen on this team to win a Super Bowl. It's absolutely possible, but we have to figure it out personnel wise. You have to fix the offensive line. It's the interior offensive line has been this bad since Steve Hutchinson retired. I would say like it's been so hit or miss. Like we had good offensive lines when Adrian Peterson was here. Like those were great running offensive linemen, but pass wise have been always so dodgy. But something's got to change. Defensive wise, I think we'll be fine. There's a lot of things that we need to fix there, but a lot of people outshone what I thought possible, even with my absurd prediction that I had that they're going to be a top 3 defense. They got close, I think. Matt told me I think they were 15th, which is better. It needs a lot of turnovers. The a lot of sacks. We were great with pressures. We got to fix the back end, and you could have never expected Kyrie to have the unfortunate end that he did, or all the injuries that we had in the preseason. They did their best, and I think it was better than I could ever have expected, defensive wise. Offensively, we performed well this season, just terribly the last 2 games. And you can blame Darnold. He is not without criticism for these last 2 games. I think he needed a little more support before it can be all on him, you know.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what it comes down to, you know.
Yeah.
It's all on the offense. I think there are some things you could say about the defense this game. It kind of looked like the Rams had figured us out, which Flores kind of needs to figure out how to adapt to once your plan A kind of figures out. And he's done that all season. It feels like it's just this one. It was a little different. But you know, excited for next season. Off season is going to be crazy. We'll get to it in a little bit, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Well said. We'll get more into it with Darnold here, but Voldy, anything to add with that?
I mean, I look at really a few things, and it really boils down to how I look at everything leading up to this game. Last couple of games, too. I felt that the team was out of it mentally and physically, emotionally after that locker room celebration against Green Bay. They just
Mm-hmm.
let it all out, all emotion, all, they felt like they just won, obviously, the Super Bowl when they defeated Green Bay, barely in that contest against, when celebrating Sam Darnold at that point. Then you lose to Detroit. That was a tough one. And then you go into the playoffs, you take on the Rams, and that was obviously a huge, huge defeat, at least consistency wise. Holding on to the football too long for Darnold was really the big catalyst out of it all. And I don't know if people keep saying he's seeing ghosts and he's, thinking about what happened the week prior to that too. And I feel like that is certainly warranted. And obviously the big glaring stat, when you have as many points as offensively as you do sacks given up, that hurts. That hurts a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. When you give up 9 sacks and only score 9 points. It was nice to see TJ Hawkinson finally in the end zone, 50, 7, 8 weeks after his return. I've literally been saying ever since he came back, let's get Hawkinson in the end zone. Too little, too late on top of that. And the real turning point of the whole contest, and I'm sure you both will agree with me, and the whole, Minnesota Vikings nation, that scoop and score from Cashman that was taken away, all momentum, all favors for the Vikings
Just
completely
gone.
gone, because apparently going like this is enough to say, oh, he's trying to complete a pass, not intentional grounding to avoid a sack, and just the most idiotic non-quarterback athletic looking play from Matthew Stafford to say, oh, that's an incomplete pass. He's trying to throw it to the guy who's 10 yards away from him by doing this. Just a flick of the wrist or whatever. That right there, I said in the back of my mind, I didn't want to admit it, the Vikings just lost the game right then and there, because at that point it would have been 9-10. Kick the extra point, it's 10-10, and the Vikings have some momentum. The defense was getting to Stafford, or at least getting stops when they needed to. Sure, a couple of chunk
Exactly.
plays here and there. Cooper Kupp wasn't getting a lot of attention. He only ended up with 1 catch in the game. Higbee had a couple of catches. Puka was obviously a big threat for them, but they get moving the ball down the field right away. Did the Rams, but as soon as that scoop and score got taken away from the Vikings, unfortunately, in the back of my mind, and I said too, it's like the Vikings are not coming back from this, and sadly, I wanted to be proven wrong. Of all the times I wanted to be proven wrong, that was the time I said, let's make this happen. But there's just so many things looking at. We didn't get the calls that we thought we needed or thought that we deserved. They made plays when they needed to, and they took advantage. They literally took the game plan from Detroit and said, pressure Darnold, get him moving, and he's gonna have to. He held onto the ball way too long, and it worked out for the Rams once again.
I'm gonna get to that in a second, but there were a couple plays in my mind, and I think you guys, you obviously saw it too. But one of which being the first drive, they went down pretty easily, right? They went down. They we got them to 4th and 1, thankfully. But Jonathan Bullard, I've rarely said his name on this show. I've rarely said, anything bad about the guy. But this is a playoff game, and if you jump off sides in a playoff game, I don't care, you're in a neutral freaking site, and you jump off sides on that, when you have a chance to stop them, bring back that momentum, sky's the limit. Who knows what happens, right? He jumps offside, and I thought to myself, this is not how you want to start. And Kyron Williams got the touchdown or whatever, barely held on to it. So that was one. The other one was, okay, they scored. We have it, our possession. We're going to go down and hopefully get some points here, or have a long drive. First play, I think it was outside run to Aaron Jones. 1 yard loss. Okay, that's just kind of feeling things out. The next play, Darnold gets sacked. 2nd and 20 or whatever. So I'm like, I thought to myself, and I don't know about you guys, but I thought to myself, this is not how you want to start, and we will lose this game if it continues like that. I know people have been saying, like, Darnold's been holding on the ball too long, and he's just indecisive. He doesn't know what to do. I'm sorry, guys. I think the pressure got to him when it mattered. And that was a concern before the Lions game. That was obviously a concern this game, too. It was like, can he get that out of his head? Can he just say, that was a bad game, we're moving on? The main thing that I look at it from is, we've been saying this, and Mikey, you just said it. We haven't really had a very good interior line since, those days of John Sullivan, Steve Hutchinson, Charlie Johnson, McKinney, and those guys. I mean, this line with Bradbury, he is so up and down. And, it's kind of due to his size and everything like that. He's not as big as, he still struggles with a bigger, lineman. And Reisner has been okay. He's kind of playing out of his comfort, or his position that he usually plays, which is left guard. And then the Vikings decide, we're going to have Brandel be our left guard. Okay, Brandel did okay. There were some games where I was like, he was okay, or he's fine. We don't even call his name. But Blake Brandel looked absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. In the run game, he had a chance to just bulldoze this DB, and he didn't do it. He let him go right by. Jones gets tackled for a loss, or Akers, or whoever the hell it was. It doesn't matter. But I'm not putting all of those, and again, we said, we're not putting all the sacks on the offensive line because Sam was holding the ball too long. Good Lord. PA was screaming at the top of his lungs, throw the ball away. I think I literally did the same thing to my TV because he held on. It's like, if you don't see anything, throw it away. And then Bursic said he should probably run it. He had a running lane to run. He's done this before. How do you not do that? The moment got to Sam Darnold. And that's the big A topic to this. So let's get back to before we get to that. Jason Schmitz. Darnold is still seeing Verse flying in at him in his nightmares. Well, probably not just Verse.
I'm seeing it in my nightmares.
Yeah. Not just Verse, but literally all of the Rams' defensive line, apparently.
That's rude.
And O'Neal didn't play that well before he got hurt either. It wasn't very good with him. So I look at it from this standpoint. They were in the game for a little bit, and then they get to that drive with them where Stafford fumbled. He did. That's the call on the field. And of course, they take that away because, oh, no, he flicked it and everything like that. I think Belichick said on the Manning cast or whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
no, it's a forward pass because they don't help the defense at all.
Yeah,
They don't.
there is no defensive help.
Yeah, there's no defense.
This will be the one time that me and Eli Manning will ever agree on anything, saying, why is that not a fumble? And just the sheer gobsmack of Eli Manning's dumb face. Just
and
saying,
even if it was a forward pass, like, you can't say that's a legal forward pass. That's intentional grounding.
He dropped the ball.
Just like the game in Detroit in the end zone. That should have been a safety.
I know.
God.
This is the frustration. This is the frustration right here.
He dropped the ball, and I'm telling you, that officiating crew was terrible. And you know, it's very suspicious. I will say, I'm not going to go into the whole conspiracy theory. It's very suspicious that they take that away because they've been taking that. They took that away for 2 straight weeks with Goff in the end zone, and now with this forward pass that somehow that Stafford was able to throw, and it was incomplete, and Nakua and Kyron Williams were in the thing. The guys were blocking, for Christ's sakes. They were blocking. It doesn't matter. And the fact that they're just like, oh yeah, I guess it was forward pass, so we got to get the call right. And then another thing, I think you guys saw this too. Cashman had a face mask. No one threw a flag. No one's. But what do the Rams do? They go up the face mask, face mask, face. Oh, I guess it was a face mask. They don't even throw the freaking flag. They don't throw the flag.
Yeah.
They didn't throw the flag. If you don't see it on the field, you can't throw the flag after that. That I couldn't believe that. I knew it right then and there. I was like, we ain't winning this game because they're not going to let us. They're not going to let us.
I think they're going to review that and be like, we're going to allow to review face mask calls, I think, in the offseason. Now, is it going to turn out just like pass interference when that was reviewable? Who knows? But
and it's not the reason why they lost. I get that. It's not the reason why they lost and everything, like, because we played bad. Right. I mean, we did.
It didn't help.
Just to point out, it's frustrating because it's not like, oh, the better team won. No.
Right.
Like, well, yes, the better team won. Like, they kicked our ass. But it's pointing at these things, they were momentum killers.
Yeah. I mean, and it's yes, it was a face mask, but if there is no referee that again, that crew, I hope they don't ref a rest of the game the rest of the year, because this has been going. It's not just the Vikings this year too, but let's be honest, there's something against the Vikings. We all know this. We all know this. But
I saw an interesting thing here when it comes to an officiating crew. I believe, big, tall, skinny guy. Looks like he could be a mortician or whatever. But Martin, I think, is his last name or whatever. He's doing the Chiefs game apparently this weekend. And he's the Chiefs are 6-0 whenever he refs their game. So
great.
So they're going to be 7-0 coming up. Exactly. I saw that too. Of like, hammer the over, money line, Chiefs. Here we go.
It's probably going to be the case there too. So, and again, it's not the reason why, but the momentum killer, like we just said, the momentum was just gone after that fumble right there. And I was screaming at the team. I was showing Papa Callahan and my sister who were mad themselves, and they're laughing because I took this stuffed basketball around and I said, this doesn't count if you drop the ball like this, and it's just so funny. But again, it was a momentum killer. But again, they have to come back from that, right? They have to just take that out of, and whatnot. We can be mad as hell. I think they went 3-and-out after that, but offensively just bad. So, I think, and it was for both sides too. I think it was Vikings-Rams on that. Jason, I knew he was going to comment here. 10 penalties for 95, 2 penalties for 20 yards. Complaining about the refs, settle down, Packer fans. No, that's not.
Okay.
That's not the thing.
That's not the thing, though, Jace. Come on.
No. It's not about the number. It's about the quality of penalties. Give me 100 penalties against the Rams.
The
I want
Vikings
the
play.
quality.
Yes,
They
the
had a
Vikings
1st and
played
31, I think.
Yes.
The Vikings played bad. They had penalties. There was penalties where I agreed with about like 80% of them. The 20% is the problem that we're having with it.
Bingo.
It's
Yes.
not like, oh, it's every penalty, it's every call. No, we are
Look,
picking out samples.
yeah, they were the better team that day. I'm not saying
And
they
one of those
lost because of the
penalties
refs.
was that neutral zone infraction that led to the touchdown
Yeah.
against the Vikings.
Just saying.
Quality over quantity. Basic
All right.
economics, JJ Smith.
So real quick, so obviously we had an awesome season. We made our bold predictions, everything like that. We'll talk about that at another time, obviously next week, because it is our 5-year anniversary. Mikey, one last thing I got for you, or for Vikings talk, because we'll move on to our divisional round picks, but it's the big question. We're going to start early with this one. Because I think it needs to be addressed, and we need to make a MinneZona decision on this. And we want everybody's thoughts on this as well, including the zoners. But Sam Darnold, did he play his last down for the Minnesota Vikings? Mikey, go ahead.
This is the question that I said it before, and I'll say it again. This is going to cost people a lot of their jobs, this decision. It's whether or not this is right. You can go either way. I think at this point, I think if Darnold had won this playoff game, it would have been a stamp of approval. He would have been, this is the guy. We'll do the Green Bay route. We'll just sit JJ. We'll sign Darnold to like a 2 or 3 year deal and see where it goes from there. At this point, I think you let it ride with JJ. I think you let Darnold walk. Now, if they sign Darnold, am I going to be upset? Not really. I mean, I'll be a little hesitant because we already know what the question is at this point. It's the Kirk Cousins question. Can he play primetime football? That's going to be the question for the entire season next year is, can Darnold play primetime football? He'll have a great game at noon. No one's going to care because everyone's going to be like, all right, let's see him against Detroit. Let's see him against the Chiefs. Let's see him against the Ravens. Let's see him against a playoff caliber football team and see where he does. He played good football games against playoff caliber teams this year. He played against the Texans. The Texans are in the divisional round. We stomped them. We played against the 49ers. The 49ers were a playoff caliber football team until their entire team is out for injuries. But at the same point, I think there are too many holes on this team to go pay for Darnold when KOC at this point is proven to take average quarterbacks and make them excellent. And like really excellent. Like Darnold was a floundering quarterback. He was going to be the backup for the rest of his life. He was going to have, a football life about him or whatever documentary, kind of like the guard or tackle from the Packers in like the 90s. It's like, oh, this guy was rated so high and then he just fell off the face of the earth kind of thing. And why did that happen? He was going to be another statistic for the Jets. Horrible managerial practice, but he's got another shot. I personally don't think it's with this team anymore, because we need to fix the O-line. We need to bolster this defense. We need to get some of these people paid. And with JJ's contract, how it's set up, we're able to bolster this team for the next 4 years. And then we have to worry about if JJ's contract. Now, are you taking a shot in the dark on basically someone who's seen half a football game on? Absolutely. But I think there's enough there. And that JJ can play in the big games. He won a national championship, for Christ's sake. Now, was it off the back of a lot of running backs? Sure, you could make that argument. But he wasn't asked to do a whole lot at Michigan. It's the same rhetoric that we had at the draft time last year, or last year now. It's like, oh, he wasn't asked to do a lot, but when he was asked to do stuff, he looked incredible. So I think at this point, let it ride, because you're going to pay Darnold probably if you can sign Darnold to like 20 mil a year. I still think it's a little too much at this point. I think it's like that 15 to 18 mil a year, but I think he's going to command like a Baker Mayfield deal. He'll get like 30, 35 mil a year for 3 or 4 years. And he'll go play somewhere else. And I wish him all the best. I was so high on Sam Darnold this year. I think he deserved the accolades that he will get and probably will continue to get for this season, and deserves all the money that he wants. But with this team, I don't see a future at this point.
Fair enough. Shield, what do you? Question to you and zoners as well. Let us know. Go ahead.
I mean, there's a reason why the Vikings signed Daniel Jones to the roster for the playoff game. I feel as if that could be a sign of things. We've seen what bringing a quarterback into this very quarterback-friendly system with Kevin O'Connell has done, obviously, with Sam Darnold. Now are the Vikings going to try to go back into that well and maybe resurrect the career of Daniel Jones post-New York quarterback, the sucking the life out of them? Very well could see. I say right now, immediate gut reaction, you let Darnold walk. I think that is probably for the best interest of the team. Yes, he's going to go and he's going to find his money elsewhere. He's going to test the market. I feel like that is going to be, I think I've seen like 7 places that need like a starting quarterback going into 2025. And obviously with the head coaching openings right now, there's a lot going on still to play there. I feel right now you obviously invested in J.J. McCarthy. How's the knee? Obviously had another surgery to kind of clean up a few things and help in that recovery process too. How's that holding up? I mean, when he did come in and obviously that preseason game against the Raiders, he lit it up. He did really well. Of course, playing in the preseason is completely different compared to an NFL regular season game. But this time, obviously last year compared to this year, I feel a little bit more comfortable putting a starting quarterback that has 0 reps at the NFL professional level regular season compared to a guy that cost us 2 games when we needed them most. Not saying it's entirely Darnold's fault, but if he wants to come back, he is obviously going to take a pay cut. But for the smart thing for Darnold, he knows the system. He knows what the team needs. I feel if it's in his best interest to come back another season at a lower cost than maybe he expected, to say, okay, do you want to get your money or do you want the best possible chance that you can and win with this system that he already knows, with a good solid offensive core that they do have, but take that pay cut to where they can at least reload in different areas like we talk about with the offensive line. But I say right now, if you were to ask me, let him walk, see if he wants to come crawling back and maybe try to, work on what we had going on this year going into next year.
We talked about it here on this show. I'm going to make mine quick since we got to get to divisional round predictions. But I'm with you guys. I think you let him walk. Now, that is not to say I don't appreciate what Sam Darnold. I do, because he went in with everyone dragging on him. Oh, you got a guy that's seeing ghosts, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. They're only getting 6 wins. They're only getting 7 wins. He got 14, and that's hard to come by in the NFL, by the way. I know some of these games, you barely won against Jacksonville, Tennessee, the Bears, and, X, Y, and Z. But listen, they won those games, and they won those games because of one Sam Darnold. And I think you appreciate that from that aspect. If they were to have a deal and say, you know what, we'll have you play, but just know we have McCarthy in arms waiting. Now, some people are like, well, we don't know how he's. It's not like McCarthy's literally sitting at home doing this. Like, I'm just waiting for my time. He's studying. O'Connell's got him through this training, things like that. And it comes down to, okay, how are you going to play when the lights are brightest, right? And how are you going to handle an NFL game? And I think that's the main thing that they have to do when they love this kid and they want him to be the franchise. You just feel bad for guys that, want to have that consistency at the quarterback position. And, we had that with Kirk for a couple. We had the flash with Kirk. We had the flash with Culpepper. Favre for a year. Some of these other guys were for a year. Case Keenum. We love Case Keenum here, always. And, it's just Ponder was an absolute disaster. And the list goes on. So I think they have something with McCarthy. And when he went down, everyone felt the same, like, damn it. This is not good, and even O'Connell. I mean, I could just tell from O'Connell as well. So I got to put my stock into one J.J. McCarthy. I believe in J.J. McCarthy. I think he can get this done. But, Mikey, you brought this up. O-line, 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 line, as the Kerf doctor likes to say. The interior needs to beef up. Because if we're ever going to get far in this, past the first round and everything like that, got to upgrade that. You have $70 million in cap space. Spend that thing. So, okay, did we get everything? I just want to make sure.
So. I think so.
Okay, all right. So, anyway, that'll do it for Tater Tot Hot Take. And, we're going to keep, again, Vikings news comes and ebbs and flows, and draft will be coming up and all that. But there is the NFL divisional games to figure out. So we're going to get it going here with our divisional predictions. Mikey will play along with us, and we'll go from there, ARA and Shield shoutouts. So let's get it going with our divisional predictions.
He has emerged from the Temple of Wisdom. Gather round for Voldy's Virtues. Class is in session. You're enrolled in Callahan's School of Logic.
All right, it is the School of Logic, the Virtues. We're in the Temple of Wisdom. We're inside a classroom or whatever. Who knows? Right. So anyway, the divisional predictions that we have. We start off with the Saturday games, gentlemen. We've got got some awesome matchups, I will admit. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans start us off on Saturday at, I believe, 3:30. It is Central Time they have up here.
3:30.
At the Kansas City Chiefs. If Austin Hanley will stop trolling us, I would appreciate it too. So just win your freaking game. If you lose to the Texans, trust me, you're going to be trolled a lot. You've been doing it all freaking week. We're coming for you if that happens. Anyway, so the Chiefs and the Texans. Voldy, who do you got?
Chiefs. I don't really want to explain. I mean, I already mentioned earlier about the certain officiating crew that does Chiefs games. Chiefs are 6-0. What else do you really need on top of that? They're well rested, given the fact their starters haven't played since Christmas. And that was 25 days ago, believe it or not. And you're like, Mahomes, Kelsey, the big guns on that team, they haven't played meaningful snaps since then. Give me the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs. I mean, it's hard to root against, to not root against. Let's not root against them. I'm rooting against them for this entire playoff season. They are the
Yep.
New England Patriots. But
What?
it's it's I don't believe in the Texans. Like the Texans had a down year this year. Yes, they looked good last week. They did look good, but it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs always figure out a way to win these games. They did it all year this year. They lost one game. Was it two? No, it was two. They lost 2 games or something like that, and it was like, oh, these games don't even matter what they lose. They went 15-2, and they coasted essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Chiefs. Let's say it's a close-ish game. I say they win by 10.
Okay. Fair enough. Is Taylor Swift going to be at the game? Probably. Yeah, I mean, you got to go with the officiating crew. Obviously, Voldy put it out for us like that. I'm going Chiefs too, and I like what I saw from the Texans though. I'm just saying, D'Amico Ryans is a very good coach. Defensively, they're a lot better. They crapped the bed against the Ravens a couple weeks ago. I think it was Christmas, and they were just terrible. But they played really well against a good Chargers team. And, they took him to the woodshed, really, Justin Herbert including. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans kind of make the Chiefs sweat a little bit. But I got the Chiefs in this one, too. All right, the next game, which we'll check out and watch that dirty player, Kirby Joseph. Commanders and Lions. That is at 7 p.m. Our time. The Lions are 9.5 point favorites over the Commanders. Voldy, who do you got in this one?
I think this one will be an interesting one. I'm going to, unfortunately, go the Lions in this one. I feel as if it's really going to be the matchup between their offense and the Lions versus this defense for the Commanders. I think they'll complement each other quite nicely, but I feel that line that we did see with the Lions, if they protect Jared Goff and allow holes for Jahmyr Gibbs, it's going to be a long day for the Commanders. I'm going to go with the Lions on this one.
Mm-hmm. And I believe David Montgomery is on track to play as well.
Look at that. Of course he is.
We got that going for him. Mikey, who do you got?
I agree with Voldy. It's going to be an interesting game. I got the Commanders. I think they're going to pull out the upset. If the Lions were healthy, I think this would be a clean sweep for them. I think it would be not a close game. It would be probably a good first half, and then the Lions would pull away. I like the momentum that the Commanders have. I like their team. I like Jaden Daniels. I think he has proven himself to be Rookie of the Year at this point. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. I don't trust this Lions defense just because of how much injury they had. I think the Vikings game, not a fluke, but they really just had their number. And I think the Commanders can look at that game and capitalize on it and see what they're going to do. So I got Commanders. It's going to be very close. It's going to be like a 2-point game, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I'm leaning too, but I do have the Detroit Lions beating the Commanders. Yes, Detroit fans, I did take your team, and that's fine. That's okay. We did. The main thing is that we're going to take a team that's obviously I feel better. They've got Marshawn Lattimore back, and man, did he get cooked against Mike Evans and the wide receiver core for the Buccaneers. And to their credit, Jaden Daniels has been playing well. I agree with you, Mikey. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I'm going to go with the Lions, though. I'll go by a touchdown. I think they'll probably hold them at the end and go from there. And the Lions probably will do a lot of holding with their DBs, so that's probably going to happen. Yeah. So we'll see. But, yeah, I got the Lions. All right, our next matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles and the LA Rams. That game is at 2 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field. Full beer cans thrown at the team bus. A lot of curse words, things like that.
Throwing batteries at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Eagles are six
We did that one
point
time.
favorites.
One time is too many.
Yeah. Then we welcome Tate as well. So, Voldy, Tate, who do you got for Eagles and Rams?
I don't want to pick the Eagles. I definitely don't want to pick the Rams. This one just end with an implosion at Lincoln Financial Field and everybody ends up okay, but they can't play the game anymore? Given what I'm looking at with this matchup, oh boy, I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. I just think with the dynamic running game that they've got, that offensive line that is all pro top to bottom, and they could slow down that not slow pass rush, but that young pass rush that they do have with the Rams. I feel the Eagles can definitely go to work in many different ways. I got the Eagles winning this one.
Oh yeah. I'm with Voldy. I want this to just end in an implosion. There's a black hole appears in Lincoln Financial, and these two teams just don't exist anymore. You know, everyone's fine, but the franchises just go poof. I agree with Voldy. I think the Eagles have too much going on offense for the Rams. Even with their defensive line, I think the run game is too dynamic with both Barkley and Hurts to be able to do anything. I think Hurts has had a pretty good year. And the Rams are. This one will be close, I think. The Eagles' defense is good, but not great. I would probably put it as. I think it'll be a touchdown game. I think it's the Eagles, though. I hate picking either of these teams.
I get it.
Again, it's not the teams; it's the fans. Like
that too, 100%.
If it wasn't for the fans,
the Eagles fans are literally the worst. Literally the worst.
I'm sure we all saw the video of the one fan that was giving it to the Packers fan. Like,
that was that was the one time in my life I felt bad for the Packers fan. You know how much it makes me to feel bad for a Packers fan?
Right.
Exactly.
And do you guys know the update on that fan, by the way? He has been banned from Lincoln Financial, which I applaud the NFL for, and he got fired from his job.
Nice.
There we go. Finally.
Take him down to South Street, give him a good old-fashioned Philly beatdown.
And here's the thing. I know it was against, the Packer fans and whatnot, and people are like, he should have, I wouldn't let someone talk to my girl like that. Do you want 80 Eagles fans beating the crap out of you? Like, that's what's going to happen. He wasn't going to jump in and do that. And just because they're Packer fans, we wouldn't treat and call somebody something you should never call a woman. Ever. And that, what a scumbag. So
we make fun of their teams. We don't make fun of their people.
Right.
Exactly.
And again, there are, believe it or not, there are some nice Eagles fans. My uncle, my godfather, my aunt, they are Eagles fans, rightfully so. They live there and everything like that. They're not like that, obviously. Thank God that they're Eagles fans, because anyone else, they'd be in trouble. But, yeah, I got the Eagles in this one. I don't love it, but I think that offensive line will be able to handle the Jared versus the Fisks of the world, Hoyt or whatever his name is. But, yeah, I got the Eagles, and I'm going to go by a touchdown. All right, guys, this is the matchup of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. The Ravens are 1-point favorites, which is crazy in itself.
1 point, not 1.5.
Yeah.
Not half a point.
It might as well just be even at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It should be, to be honest. 5:30, that game starts up on Sunday. Voldy, here's the question. Who do you got, Ravens or Bills?
You know, I really wanted this one. This is a tough one for me. If you ask me this is going to be the matchup before the first time they played each other, I say, oh, give me the Bills all day. I just see Josh Allen running up and down the field, slinging the ball left and right. But this is a different Ravens team. This go around, we saw what happened in the regular season matchup. The Ravens just outclassed the Bills in many different ways, as Tate would agree with me on that too. You saw that long run from Derrick Henry in that regular season matchup between the two. That's going to be a huge factor. Derrick Henry looks fresh at this point. He's playing games well beyond his comfort at this point because, well, the Titans never really made it that far in the playoffs to begin with during his tenure down in Tennessee. But now him with the Ravens, he's looking fresh, and he is just hurting dudes left and right with his strong running game. But I feel with this Bills team, their defense isn't as stacked as it has been in years past. But this is a sneaky team that can make plays when it needs to. You give Josh Allen the ball, he can hold on the ball till, his heart's content, or he can score up and down, left and right and center quickly. He can extend long drives. He can make something happen. But give me the Bills in this one. Home field advantage is a real thing this time of year.
All right. And Mikey, who do you got?
Yeah, Voldy and I are mind linked at this point. It's the Bills. Like the Bills are the team I think I have to cheer for at this point. As a fellow 0-4 Super Bowl team fan, I have to cheer for them. I think Josh Allen, they've been saying it for a few years, but I think this year is really the year that it came out. He has the it factor. I don't know what it is, but he makes plays when he needs to. Did you see that fourth down, basically Hail Mary that they scored last week? It was unbelievable. I'm like, What is happening here? Granted, it was against Denver, which I think they were frauds. They barely snuck into the playoffs, and they have a fraud for a head coach. That's just enough. But this is the game of the week. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be fun to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like that Bills Chiefs game of a couple years ago. I think it was 2019 or 2018, somewhere in there, where it was some of the most fun football you've ever seen in your life. This is going to be that, I think. Not so much passing. I think for the Bills, it's going to be a lot of passing. For the Ravens, it's going to be old school ground and pound. You're going to see a bunch of plays we haven't seen in a while in the NFL, how they've done it. I got the Bills. I got them by a field goal. I think it's a last-second field goal to win it.
Nice.
All
With
right,
big
very
ball
nice.
bass, baby. Bold
There you
prediction. Whoever wins this game is representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Just putting it out there.
I agree with that. I agree.
Put it
I
down.
agree.
Voldy, I need you to do something for me. I need you to finish this sentence. Nobody circles the wagon.
Like the Buffalo Bills.
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens.
The heel turn.
I like
The heel
it.
turn.
Someone
Give me
is
the
watching
Ravens.
their Pat McAfee. I love it.
I did the McAfee. I knew I was like, I got this. But I got the Ravens. Listen, I won't be shocked if the Bills win. If the Bills won, awesome, cool, I like it. But Henry looks like a man on a mission. Lamar, they've been in this position for a long time and everything like that. They are going to need a big game from Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Rashad Bateman. We know him very well. We need him. Flowers as well. So they need to come through. And their defense needs to play well like they have been these past few. So it's going to come down to them being able to play well. I'm going to say Ravens by a field goal. Justin Tucker. He hasn't had the best year, but let's go with Tucker.
Another bold prediction. Whoever wins this game is the starting quarterback will be named MVP of the league.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it.
Oh, it doesn't take it into account because it's not the regular. Shut up. We all know
No,
this.
it 100% takes in.
And
You think
have the
Brownie-
NFL awards at the end of the regular season. Don't have them, the week before the Super Bowl or whatever.
Exactly.
Have it, at
Agreed.
the end of the season.
It's like the Heisman. The Heisman takes into account bowl
Exactly.
games.
Mm.
You have to win your bowl game to win a Heisman, unless you're
This is true.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, true. That's a good
true.
point. Yeah, so I think the thing is I feel like we took we took the Eagles, we all took the Chiefs, we all took the Lions. So I mean, I got the Ravens. Let's do it.
mix
Let's
it up.
switch things up. I really think they can win.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
absolutely. I'm not mad with anybody who wins that game.
Exactly. I don't mind either way. So, with that being said, Mikey, thank you for joining us tonight, talking the Vikings and doing these predictions. That was a lot of fun. We had a good time with that.
Oh, 100%.
So we will see you next week, though, because you are going to be choosing your prize for the Pick'em, our 5-year anniversary. More on that later. We will talk about that as we get towards the end of the show. But, Mikey, thanks for hopping on, and we'll have some more Viking stock. I'm sure of it once free agency hits. So.
Well, yeah, once the season ends, be prepared, Vikings fans. It's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah, that it will be. So, Mikey, we will talk to you later, and until then, Skol Vikes.
Skull. Yeah.
All right, I'll see you, man.
All right, see ya, guys.
All right, Mikey, thanks for joining us. Now it's time for some ARA. We'll have to go through them relatively quick. Ant, his fines are going up now. The Wolves play tonight against the Warriors. We'll quick talk about that. Then we got the Patriots hiring Mike Vrabel. Voldy's got a lot to say with that. And then we have Mike McCarthy out as Cowboys head coach. Coach Prime has been a name that's been brought up. And Sasaki narrows down to 3 teams that he could be going to in the MLB. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's get it going. What's up? Absurd or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we head to the world of the association, that being the NBA, where Minnesota Timberwolves star player Anthony Edwards is continuing to rack up the fines for his actions this season. Most recently, another $50,000 fine for making an obscure gesture towards a game official that will cost him yet again. Now adding into the total of now $285,000 in fines this season. 5 different, as they quoted as saying, behavioral transgressions, mostly for language, $100,000 for swearing during a live television interview, $75,000 for a public profane criticism of officiating, another $25,000 for profanity in a media interview, and back in November, he was fined $35,000 for making obscene gestures on the court. Now, with all these fines adding up to just over $250,000, is it absurd or approved? Are we concerned that the fines are starting to affect the team's play? But most recently, I mean, Ant did put up 40 points in a game most recently. I mean, they are playing tonight.
Right.
Are we concerned that the Timberwolves aren't performing to the level they need to be at, given the fact that Ant is racking up the bill early and often?
Well, it's a good thing to factor in. I mean, one thing with Ant is we know what we're going to get with Anthony Edwards and how he talks and whatnot. Where was this last year? Ant was dropping MNFers and things like that, F-bombs all the time, and now they're starting to fine him for this. And I think he definitely crossed the line when he started doing middle fingers to the referees. And granted, it probably, I believe Ant most of the time, but again, you can't let the referees dictate the game, right? So there's a lot to be said with that. But I would say, just in general, they haven't played well as a team. But does this affect them? Maybe a little bit, but I think Ant addressed it and said, look, I can't be doing that. I messed up. I can't be racking up more fines because this is, I mean, granted, it's probably chump change for them, but for us, I mean, good Lord, I could go on a trip with that kind of money.
Right.
But but the thing is that's, Ant crossing the line, doing the middle fingers to the referee. You can't do that. But Ant, there's so many guys that drop F-bombs and stuff like that in the NBA. I mean, good Lord, he said this on national television.
I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years. Bring your ass.
Bring your ass. Bring your ass. Still love that, by the way. And I still have the shirt. But no, I don't think it. I think it's absurd. I don't think it's affecting them really. What's affecting them is them trying to come together as a team. They've been doing that. They've won, I think, 4 of their last 5 or whatever it was, or 3 of their last 4. Yeah, I think it was 4 of their last 5. And I don't think it's going to hurt them. I think they're starting to get in a groove a little bit. And that's what we need to see if they're going to get to where they want to get to from last year, and maybe even beyond that. Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said. And trade deadline's kind of coming up here soon, too. So who knows? So, yeah, I think it's absurd. I don't think it's affecting them really, but Ant's got to stop doing that. That's what we got to say there. So, Voldy, what do you got?
I mean, I don't really see it affecting the team's play. It is a little concerning with Ant, obviously, all the publicity he's getting with said fines and even just racking up the total, given the star attention that he's now starting to get from, him being featured in starting 5, the success of the team over the last season and a half for them too, making all the way to the, Western Conference Finals. I mean, there is just a lot of eyes on him right now, and a lot of things that maybe went unnoticed the last couple seasons. Well, now they're starting to garner a lot more attention. And you would think with all the attention that's coming towards him that it would, lead to a drop in his success. I mean, like I mentioned, he put up 40 points the other night, and, the team isn't at its full potential and playing ability right now, but they're getting wins when they need to, but they definitely need a few things to kind of tighten up in that regard. I don't really seeing it affecting the team's play. I think it's absurd in my mind.
Ant be an ant. That's all we gotta say. But yeah, that last, I mean, flicking the refs off, nah, man, you shouldn't do that. That's a no-no. So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of the NFL after a short search for the next head coach of the New England Patriots. The Patriots finally got their guy a year later than probably most people expected. Mike Vrabel returns the New England Patriots, of course, a team that he saw great success with on the field as a player. Now will be tasked with rebuilding, or at least retooling, a team that is in the midst of a rebuild. The head coach for now the New England Patriots was hired this past Sunday on a multi-year contract to be the 6th coach in the franchise history after a 4-13 season the Patriots did have, which included under first-year head coach Gerard Mayo and a chance to secure the number 1 overall draft pick, but they decide to falter in that department by winning a game, which led to the dismissal of Mayo as head coach. Now with Vrabel in tow under the Patriots' watch, is it absurd or proof? Will Mike Vrabel get the Patriots over a 500 record coming next season?
That's a great question. I think this is a really great hire, again, just because he has the experience, one. Not to throw shade at Mayo, because I think he's
Mayo
still
needed more seasoning.
Yeah, he needs more seasoning. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Vrabel, I think where he's going to, how he's going to look at this team is he has, and again, not trying to throw shade, but Tannehill and some of these quarterbacks that they've had have just been piss poor bad. I mean, Tannehill had that one season where he was all right. I mean, it's kind of very similar to kind of Darnold in some aspect. But now he has a guy in Drake May who has, he's made some strides. He looks good, and who knows with Milton? We talked about it last time too, Voldy.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a ton of cap space, and we said this last week too with that, and he'll be able to get what type of guys that he knows that can make an impact. Defensively, I think they'll be solid. I don't want to say that he's going to be like a Belichick type guy. No, he's not. He's going to be what he was in Tennessee, just as the Patriots head coach. Now, I think you need to go and get yourself a really good number one wide receiver. I think maybe a T. Higgins could be an option here. I know that he's been trying to get out of Cincinnati, so I think they can add with that. But for the question that you asked, I would say, yeah, I'm going to say it's got my stamp of approval. And the reason why I say that, it's not going to be like a 12-5 or something, but it's going to be like a 9-8. And that's good for a first season. And who knows? I mean, maybe they make the playoffs, they sneak in, who knows? But you got to give Drake May some more weapons. I think you have to really find somebody in the run game too. I mean, Stevenson's okay. He's not amazing by any means, but I think that they should look into maybe a running back, younger guy, maybe adding to their offensive line. It hasn't been that great for them in recent years. So, I'll give it my stamp of approval. I think they will go over 500, 9-8. That's what I got. So, Foldy, what do you got?
I look back at the season the Patriots had, especially with Gerard Mayo. They did what they had offensively. They decided to start off with obviously Jacoby Brissett and try to make it work. Allow Drake May to see how things work in the NFL, how to, game plan, how things happen, the speed of the game really. And then they let him in, and Drake May did well enough to compete in a lot of games. The defense let them down at the end of a few games as well. But the thing I look at with Gerard Mayo, he's not a bad coach. Like I'd said, just needed some more time. If anything, needs to get out of New England is the thing. I feel like a lot of coaches, like you look at like the Bill O'Brien, you look at the Josh McDaniels, you look at a lot of coaches that were in New England and got head coaching jobs elsewhere. Were there immediate success? Sure. Long-term success? Not exactly. And that really all serves the fact they try to replicate the Patriots at a different organization. When Mike Vrabel left the Patriots as a player, he didn't join them as a coach. He went to Kansas City. He played a couple more seasons, and then he went right to college, working at Ohio State at his alma mater, worked his way up through the ranks in Houston. He got, obviously the head coaching job in Tennessee. He didn't try to make, what the Patriots were in a different facility. He did it kind of his way, took bits and pieces of the Patriots and tried to meld it with his philosophies, things he's seen at other places, at Ohio State, at the Texans in that kind of, spurt of time when he was under Bill O'Brien, and take that to a different level. Saw some success there. Unfortunately, the last couple seasons as head coach were losing seasons, and then he got let go, then ended up being a coaching assistant and consultant with the Browns this year, but ultimately coming back. I feel like this would be a nice shot in the arm for them because it hasn't been everything under Belichick. This is going to be a direct microcosm of, what Belichick did for Gerard Mayo. I don't blame anything really what happened this season. It is what it is. Did the best that he could. I'm sure hopefully he'll find a job somewhere else, maybe get reinvigorated and kind of learn from your mistakes. But I feel with the team that they do have, they'll have to make a splash or two in the offseason with, maybe some free agency moves, maybe, do some work in the draft a little bit. But I feel that the division itself, Miami's a bit complete misnomer. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. Who knows what the Jets will be at? This is a very stealable division for second place, honestly, in the division itself. I could very well see the Patriots take second in the AFC East this year behind the Bills, and maybe, just maybe, sneak their way with a little bit of help, maybe the last couple weeks, and sneak a wild card spot for sure. So I think it's got my stamp of approval. It's definitely going to be a very back and forth, up and down season for them. But I feel like with Vrabel, they're going to find a way to get over that 500 mark.
There you go. It's looking bright for the Patriots. So, all right, to another NFL team, Voldy.
Yes, Dallas Cowboys are going to be looking for a new coach for this year, as the previous head coach, Mike McCarthy, will not return for 2025, as the contract that did expire last Wednesday now makes Mike McCarthy a free agent after a couple of bumbling postseason performances and also a unfortunate, under 500 season for the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy will be looking for a new job, and that has opened the door, could quite possibly a reunion down in Dallas with a coach that has seen some success as of late. Of course, talks have taken place with Jerry Jones, owner and GM for the Dallas Cowboys, and also, head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders. Nothing official has taken place, no official interviews, just saying that Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders have talked to each other at some point since the contract of Mike McCarthy did expire last week. Talking about the Dallas Cowboys job now, it's very interesting to see if Deion would make the jump from college to the pros, even after he's been adamant about staying in college and not having the desire to coach rich men. I believe that was the quote from him. But is it absurd or proof? Will we see Coach Prime as head coach for the Dallas Cowboys next season?
I wouldn't rule it out. Jerry's got a lot of money that he has, and he can throw his way towards Deion Sanders. Anyway, but McCarthy, I thought the McCarthy thing was a done deal. I thought that they were gonna, have him come back. But apparently not, and that's kind of, I guess they're finally listening and saying, oh, we're not okay with these exits and not making the playoffs, X, Y, and Z, right, and all that. But a lot of those decisions were done by Jerry Jones, CD, Dak. Their run game was terrible. They released Zeke before the last game or something like that, or after that game. It's just a mess. I kind of look at it from this perspective. Jerry's going to put out a number. I know that Shador and Travis and Shiloh, they're all done at Colorado. So it's just like, Jerry's like, how much you need? He's probably taken a blank check, put it right in front of him, and said, how much you need to get over here, because we need you. But I'm not ruling it out, but I could see Deion saying, no, I like college. I think he did say that. He's like, I like being here and everything like that. It's at least having a conversation is saying, okay, I'm a little interested. Let's talk. But I think he stays at Colorado. I really do. I think he likes being there. He wants to build that program. I just don't see him being like, well, I got to get going now, and start up a whole new thing. What are they going to do? They're going to trade guys in Dallas, things like that. I think they're waiting on how things go in the divisional games and so on and so forth, conference championship. So I'm going to say absurd. I don't think he will be. I think it's going to be somebody else. So, Voldy, who do you got?
I think it would be completely dumb if even consideration of Deion going to the NFL. He said multiple times that the college game is probably the best place for him, and I think college football is the absolute best spot for Deion Sanders. You have almost a complete stranglehold on that entire program, from administration to the performance on the field. You go to the Dallas Cowboys, you have absolutely no control, because Jerry Jones is going to be breathing down your neck. Ultimately, he's the one that's going to be making a lot of decisions when it comes to player personnel, picking up guys left and right. Sure, he's going to be head coach, or he would be head coach, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if Jerry doesn't agree with it, it's not going to happen on the field. I don't see this happening. I just know that conversations have taken place that say Jerry Jones talked with Deion Sanders about the Cowboys needing a head coach. Now, beyond that, I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. And I just love seeing Deion at the collegiate level. I think it's great for the game. I personally enjoy it. Say what you want. I mean, I've been watching Coach Prime on Amazon Prime. Just watched the most recent season about this past season as well. It's great. I mean, he's got everything locked down. It's hard not to root for the guy because I mean he's got plenty to say, and there's just a lot of things that are going right. It's just interesting to see how it'll happen going forward without Shadur and Shiloh and Travis Hunter there in Colorado. But I think it's absurd. I don't think he's going to be leaving for Dallas.
Yeah. And when you have Jerry, I mean, the thing is like Deion's going to be like, I make decision on X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. GM, and he's just going to be like, no, I make the decisions. And he's made some boneheaded decisions, let's be honest. So,
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Last one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of Major League Baseball, and prize star Japanese right-handed pitcher Roki Sasaki has made an announcement that he has narrowed down his selection of teams that he will sign for over the course of the next week. Include the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, or the Toronto Blue Jays. The big names that have been whittled down to those three for the right-handed pitcher Sasaki, who will be hopefully coming to the world of Major League Baseball this coming season. But of those three teams you look at, of course, Dodgers have all that funny money after winning a World Series and signing guys to multi-million-dollar deferred contracts. The Padres and as well as the Blue Jays have had their connections to Japanese and, Asian Pacific stars too. But of those three teams, where does Roki Sasaki land for the upcoming season?
The Minnesota Nah.
If only. If only.
Yeah, not a chance there. That's a tough one. But I don't know. I hate doing this, but I just think they're so good at persuading nowadays, and it's just like, I mean, they got Ohtani, they got Mookie, your guy Mookie, and everything like that. I think it's going to be the Dodgers. I don't love it. I think that they want to build kind of this dynasty type of thing with LA. I'm glad the Yankees are out. That helps. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Padres. Toronto, I know that there's connections there and everything like that, but and the fact that Coach Bo is no longer with that program, unfortunately, or no, actually, better gig for him. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I just think they're gonna try and make their, keep it going with the World Series and dominate and everything like that. So they got the money to do it. I got the Dodgers. Voldy, what do you got?
I don't want it to be the Dodgers. If anything, my immediate reaction's like, let's throw in the Padres. Do you want to be another piece in the machine, or do you want to be the standout guy? And I feel like if you want to be the guy, you go to San Diego. I mean, you got Darvish there, who's kind of in the back end of his career, but there's enough pieces down in San Diego to maybe be a little bit more competitive against the Dodgers. I mean, they've got all that funny money. I mean, baseball is just one gigantic game of Monopoly, basically. It's not real. I mean, people say they have money, but it's not real. I mean, you're not going to be getting all of that here and there when it's all said and done. But I feel like if you ask Sasaki, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go to San Diego? It's a pitcher-friendly park down there. You play in a competitive division in the NL West too. Of course, you go against the Giants, you go against the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Dodgers too. There's going to be some competitive games there, and that's just in the division itself. I mean, the NL has some quality teams on top of it. I feel like San Diego. That's going to be where I think he'll land this coming season.
Hey, might as well. I'd be fine with that. Go to San Diego. So, all right, that'll do it for ARA this week. Great job as always, Voldy.
Thank you, sir.
It's time for some Shield shoutouts. We got some special Shield shoutouts tonight, so let's get it going with some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who you shouting out tonight?
Well, we do got to send a congratulatory shout out to DJ Vold, friend of the program, my brother and head coach of the Granite City Lumberjacks. Over this past Sunday, the Granite City Lumberjacks did defeat the Rochester Grizzlies 4-3, which also meant the 400th career coaching win for head coach DJ Vold, and a nice milestone for a nice win for the Lumberjacks there to have a nice home game victory on Sunday. But with Sunday also brought an opportunity. I was on the broadcast as Joe Clements was out for the weekend, which did present an opportunity for Lumberjacks defenseman Luke Anderson, who was out of the lineup, but did a very nice job filling in his color commentary debut. Start of something special for him. So big shout out to Ando for filling in on color commentary duties as well. Got to send a Shield shout out as well to Jimbo for this sweet sweatshirt that I got to pull off here for. Ordered it, said it didn't fit him, so he said, "Oh, why don't you give it a try?" And well, it fits, so I'm definitely keeping it. And also, big shout out to Jimbo as well for helping help record and produce a little bit of the Coach's Corner program that I do at the Lumberjacks. Big helps there. So that's going to do it for Shield shoutouts this week.
On over with the Volds, that's for sure. And yeah, color commentary, Voldy, like I said, I think I told you last week, happened to listen to the SMSU homecoming highlights that you and I both did back in the day, and good times. So
fun.
Great job with Shield shoutouts as always, Voldy. And
Thanks,
our 5-year anniversary is next Wednesday. Let's party. We've got some cool surprise, guys. We will have the polls, best guess, the whole best team, the absurd statements, the whole kit and caboodle with some other cool stuff as well coming your way for MinneZona. So keep in tune on our social medias. It's coming. Just get ready, baby. It's going to be fun. So be on the lookout on the social medias, and we'll get as many things ready for you as possible for our 5-year anniversary show. So with that being said, guys, we got the merch. We got sweatpants, shirts, stickers, hats, the whole kit and caboodle. Like I said, we'll get them to you. If you want some, come get some, as John Cena would say. Thank you to National Free Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers, and make sure you check out our guy, the ripped, the guy's just ripped. He's just amazing. Will Rattel, W2 Performance, www.w2performance.com. The guy's a machine. He dunks. He lifts weights. He's amazing. The Brotherly Ballers podcast, Tyler Herman, Jack Vickers. Things have kind of wrapped up with fantasy football, but make sure you check out what they have coming up for next year and whatnot. Our champion, not only Pick'em, but fantasy football as well, and Tyler Herman. So we got that. TLS Performance, our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr., doing some awesome things. And make sure you check out the Popcorn Bucket List. Nick Dahlhoff, Ryan Meyerberg, the Rhino, as we like to say here on the show, and Omni Entertainment. They got new episodes. I think there were some rants that went on last episode, so make sure you check that out. And then, obviously, check out earlier in the show as well. That was fun. So, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Enjoy. We can't wait to bring you the 5-year anniversary show. We got some surprises coming your way, and we can't wait to bring it to you, the Zoners. So, all right, with that being said, as always, remember, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.